Hold up.
I hope you're having a great day and I hope you're staying safe at home. Today I want to talk about unexplained sickness that happens to us. You know, as we get caught up in technology and social media and everything else, we usually start to blame our genes, we start to blame pollution in the air and all of these things, which may be right. But sometimes when unexplained sickness happens, you know, we keep wondering, why has this happened to me? Like you have cancer, you know, families that are struck down with different kinds of cancers, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and all of these things. Medical science says we don't know why, but here we have a medicine, we have a pill, which is all good. But I think for the longest time, we've missed the connection between the body and the mind. And now we see science starting to push out more research showing us how the human mind and the body are literally connected with each other. And what's happening in the mind can be a very powerful reason for why we have disease in the physical body and the physical self. We need to understand this because right now, at this point, at this very point in the world, we are stuck in something called chronic sickness. What is chronic sickness? It is sickness that persists in the body. You're on one pill for your first symptom. A couple of years later or a couple of months later, you're on the second pill, and then the third pill and the fourth pill. So as we're aging, our prescription is also increasing. So we're in chronic sickness. We're not getting better. We're getting treated. Our symptoms are getting treated, but we're not getting better. We're getting sicker and sicker. That is what chronic sickness is. And why haven't we found a way to cure this? Because number one, we're not looking at what the root cause is. And in most cases, the root cause is and requires a change in lifestyle. Now, let me give you an example. Many times in life, we have patients who fall sick, unexplained weight loss, unexplained skin rashes, psoriasis, eczemas, cognitive brain disorders, and all of that stuff. Their lifestyle is fine, everything's going really well. And when you sit down to speak to them, you find out things as simple as, which we would never give significance, loneliness, a feeling of being unwanted, a feeling of being rejected. Now, let me explain how this causes sickness. When you go back to being a child, most children would have been privileged to go through the experience of when you're sick, your parents give you so much of love and attention when you're sick. I hope you experienced that as a child, okay? So when you're sick, right at that point when you're a child, your subconscious mind relates. You see, your subconscious mind relates everything with a trigger. Every single thing with a trigger, and it has a memory. So your subconscious mind sees it that when the human body falls sick, it gets love, attention, and care. Okay, so it remembers that cycle. That's something called a neural circuit. Okay, and we grow up with that. As we move into our busy lives and as we go through stages of feeling lonely, feeling unloved, feeling uncared for, or we want attention and we're not getting it, guess what? Your subconscious mind kicks in that same action. It makes you sick so that you get love, attention, and care. So many people fall sick because of that subneural connection in their mind that when the body falls sick, it gets love, care, and attention. These things are real, correlated with a feeling. You may remember a feeling of your past, which made you feel so sick. Okay, and when you remember it, it could be 20 years later, but when you go through that feeling or that memory, you immediately find yourself falling sick, or you find rashes come up or hives on your body. You know, your entire body changes. You see, that is the power of your subconscious mind. And you need to realize that beyond just your medicines, I'm not saying don't take your medicines, take them, they're needed. Beyond your medicines, sometimes the healing of every disease requires us to revisit our childhood, to revisit the emotions that we're possibly going through right now. Not just emotions like I'm not doing well at work, I had a fight with my spouse, no. Feelings like loneliness, feelings like not being cared for, feelings like being unloved, because these are real things. If you don't fix those feelings, they're difficult, but you need to fix it. It's part of your recovery plan. You tend to get sicker and sicker. You see, a pill cannot always solve every problem. Okay, a pill is good for a symptom. A pill is good for treatment, but you have to address the root cause of the problem. So sometimes you will see that. You will even see that in a growing child, that when they're craving attention or they're not getting it, okay, they tend to start falling sick. This is a subconscious activity that happens in the mind of every human being, which is why childhood is a very, very important phase. And it is very important for children to go through the right subconscious development through the experiences and memories that are created in their childhood by their teachers, by their parents, by everyone around them, including their siblings. So whenever you're stuck in life and you keep getting sick all the time, okay, yes, you want to change the way you eat, the way you sleep, your exercise, all of that is mandatory. But you also want to start looking at and asking yourself, what is going on in my life right now? Am I missing someone? Am I missing something? Do I feel loved? Do I feel appreciated? Because you see, the physiological state of the human body is to be happy and to feel happy, which is why we never have to try to be happy. It's the physiological state. When things are all well, we naturally feel happy. Too many people out there are constantly chasing happiness. They're trying to find ways to make themselves happy. But it's a physiological state. It exists in us. More than trying to create it, we have to see what we need to remove from our life, which leaves us with the true physiological state, which is happiness. Happiness and peace. So you need to revisit that. Sometimes you find people, your loved ones or family or even yourself, going through deadly diseases. Take the best treatment in the world, do what you need to do from a lifestyle aspect, food aspect, medical aspect, but you also have a lot of self-work to do. You owe it to yourself to do this self-work and try to figure out, why has my body pushed me into the sickness? Okay? Especially when it's unexplained sickness. Okay, if you've been abusing your health, if you've been abusing your digestion, you know you're going to get acidity and all the problems related to that. You've been a chronic smoker, tobacco chewer, you know you have the possibility that if you got a lung cancer, it is because of that. I'm saying when it's unexplained sickness, always break it down. When your kids fall sick, when your teenagers fall sick, when young adults fall sick, even when parents and elderly people feel sick and get unexplained sickness, you know that you can get sick from a broken heart, right? You do know that you can get sick from being lonely. You don't know that you can get sick from being unloved or uncared for. So if we find these things out, it gives us an action plan to try to change it. Now, it may be difficult, but that doesn't change the fact that there is a solution. And if there is a solution, there is action that we need to take. So always remember this. This is what beyond medicine is. We as a world has accepted and we expect a quick fix for every sickness and ailment. It doesn't exist. We have to do self-work at a root cause level to figure out what we need to do to change our life. Even when it comes down to depression. Okay, yes, there is clinical depression with chemical imbalances, it needs medication and all of that stuff, but let me tell you, most of the depression out there, when you bring it down, it comes down to a problem of not receiving the right amount of attention, okay? Not receiving the right amount of love, rejection, loneliness. And if that is the truth, if that is the root cause, let us accept it and figure out an action plan to fix that. Not just rely on medication and more and more and more counseling. Of course, the counseling is great for you if it's leading you into the direction of action. But it is so important for you to understand it needs to be the right way, and you cannot just take your health and outsource it into someone else's hand. You need to be part of the healing process. It's teamwork. Okay, a doctor cannot be effective with you without you being a part in your own healing and recovery. So always remember this. If you're going through anything in life right now, try to figure out what the root cause is. It could be something as simple as too much of stress, anxiety, too much of anger in you, too much of resentment in you, too much of bitterness. I see tons of patients who are sick because of the amount of bitterness, the amount of guilt that they have. And as they work with it and it slowly lifts, their medical parameters start changing. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.